Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to the NonnaBoss Continuum. And man, another amazing guest again tonight for you guys. It's gonna just be rocking. You're gonna love it. But before we get started, just a couple things. First off, I am gonna call upon my soul tribe, all of you, and all of my prayer warriors, because Mr. Gary over there is feeling a little under the weather tonight. So I want everybody to send him love, light, good vibes, prayers, and get him back to feeling his normal spunky self. So I would appreciate it if you guys would do that for me tonight and for him. It would mean a lot for me, and show my super fan some major love. So tonight I have Miss Barb Hartman with me tonight, and I have been dying for this interview because y'all know I gotta like ask a million questions. So I hope nobody gets like upset that I ask a lot of questions, but you guys know I watch somebody, I hear what they got to say, and I'm listening to them and intently, but my brain still starts firing, and I want to ask these questions. So I always look at it like these are the questions like when I was sitting in chat in people's shows, I would want to know the answers to. So I hope you guys can bear with me as we dive deep into the experiences of Miss Barb Hartman. Welcome her to the show. Thank you, Barb, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, you kidding? I'm honored. I am like I've been so stoked all day long. I've been all like, yes. And I've been making sure like I practiced how to play the audio, like, because I'm technically challenged.
You don't
right?
have to tell
Everybody
me.
knows
I'm
that.
so technically challenged. Oh my gosh.
I thought I was gonna have to text Chris last night. I was gonna text him and be like, I don't know how to do this. Can you and
Chris
I'm like,
is our man, Chris Hensley.
Yeah.
You gotta I don't know. Oh man.
I was like, Chris, thank you for all your technical help there,
definitely,
because without
definitely.
you,
Thank you
I
so
don't, and I really appreciate he helped me with my music to my intro. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I'm back to my original, my amazing, loving. I love that music. I don't know why, it resonates with me. So he got it together for me, and if you guys want to know where it's from, it's actually from First Floor Audio. Go and check out that channel. Lee over there, he's got amazing music. He does like these live concerts on Saturday nights for people. He's just great. So thank you to him. Thank you, Chris, for helping me with that. So let's get into your story. So where do you want to start?
I guess I will start. Where do you want me to start?
Okay, how about this? Where you live, how long you've lived there.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's give everybody that great foundation of context that we love, right?
Well, the current house that we're in, which is the only house that I've ever had experiences like this, I'm going to tell you. I live in Washington State. I live in the county in Washington State that has the most Bigfoot sightings.
Did you know that?
I did, but honestly, never thought, because this is something like I've been, I don't want to, I guess kind of obsessed since I was probably a young girl, like a young kid watching the Bogey Creek movie with my dad. And then he showed me the Patterson film, and I just thought it was just so neat. But I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, and we've moved around a lot with first my job, then my husband's job. And when we were living in Illinois, and my husband got the job offer out here. And so from Illinois, we'd never actually been this far north and west. Looking at the map, it's like, oh my gosh, is that even in like the United States? Because we're so I know.
You're like checking property lines and maps and stuff. I can see that.
Yeah.
I do it. I would be doing it.
So, but my son actually said, Mom, do you realize like that's Bigfoot country? And I'm like, at the time, I didn't know that like Bigfoot is literally like everywhere now. Like we know that it's all over the United States, but I didn't know that, either. I've always been, again, interested in following more so like on the documentaries. I don't like the movies, whatever, but my son was like, yeah, Mom, do you realize that that's like Bigfoot? And then the county that we're moving to, he's like, Mom, that's number one. Again, I'm like, that's cool. So we moved here and we moved into a different house. That was in 2012. We moved into our present house though in 2017, September of 2017. We live on the Puget Sound, and that's a big body of water that's fed through, like it's ocean water that's fed up Salish Sea. And on two sides, we're bordered by the actual water, the beach. Two sides, there's a family trust property that it's like they have security guards that drive through it. They have cameras and signs, and so that's nice. That's all protected. It's very rural, very heavily forested. Just great, like idyllic. It's so peaceful. Love it. Move in, whatever. April of 2018, my husband came to me and said, I want to show you something, but it might freak you out. He said, I've been walking by it for the past 3 days, and every time I look at it, I don't know what to think. And so I just want to show it to you. So it was under our house. Our house is on a steep, like an incline, right? And it kind of juts out. And so there is, with like part of the house and like decks, there is a completely dry area under the house, like a pretty large portion of it. So in that dry area and on these steps that walk down, there was a massive footprint. Now, I never, we didn't measure it. Like, how stupid was that? But like, I didn't even think. But anyway, no. Because I thought that's not even. And he said, okay, so he brings me down and like, what does that look like to you? I said, what do you think it looks like? He said, I think it looks like a bare footprint. And I said, that's exactly what I think too. And he said, and then like, look at this one. Then there was like a partial one, as if it was had like turned around, stood there and turned around, maybe realized, oh no, I'm on gravel here, and I don't know. But honestly, I mean, that was amazing. But and I took pictures and stuff, but I didn't need to tell anybody. I did ask a friend of mine who has lived here for years, and she's had encounters with Bigfoot. And I said to her, what does this look like to you? And she said, it definitely looks like a print to me. I don't know what other animal that it's not a bear, it's not a bear. So the other thing that my husband had found was on our beach, we have it's very rocky, and there's these like boulders that are kind of way down into the sand, and they were overturned, like and how would that even, I don't even know, unless you had like big pieces of machinery.
Yeah.
And so that was right around that time, within the few days of that. So, that was kind of cool, but didn't really think that it was anything, because yes, I believed in them, and they were but it was almost like a magical thing that I don't know if they really exist. I want to believe that they exist. So nothing really happened. So that's, what did I say? April 2018, March 2018. The next August in 2019, we went camping in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, and we went disbursement camping. And basically what that is that you just you just go into the national forest and find a place to camp, wherever you want to.
So there could be nobody around you.
Yes, and there was. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like we call that down here. It's primitive. They call it
Yes, and there
primitive
was definitely
camping. So it's like it's all primitive. There's nothing anywhere, and you just
right.
take a
No
spot and you're good.
services. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. And we drove in probably about 2 miles into, and there's many service roads through the park, but we drove in the particular one. We drove in about 2 miles, and we didn't see another soul. It was the weekend. I thought at least we're gonna like go past another car. Nothing. It's so, that's the thing, is like it's so remote and like so vast that it's hard to describe unless you kind of, like been here and experienced it. But so make camp, and it started to, we had dinner. We were with my husband, with our son and his wife and their little dog. The only thing that was odd was that my daughter-in-law and I, we went off after dinner, just kind of, to really go to the bathroom. And their little dog, who's very, like he doesn't bark a lot. He's very friendly. And, he started to act weird and like was kind of like growling and and again, very uncharacteristic for him. So I called him over to me and he wouldn't come. And I kind of grabbed him by the collar and he twisted around and I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with him? He was just, this is not how this dog is. So, take him back to the camp and his dad, my son was really mad at him. What did you do to grandma's finger? Cause my finger. Right. But I just thought, yeah, how weird. Anyway. So,
but you write it off, right? You're like, this is weird. It's like,
whatever.
So that was your very first indication, was the dog, how the dog was reacting in the moment. That was your first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then really, I should have been like, there were all kinds of like things, predators possibly, so, but I was surprised the way that he acted anyway. So we, clean things up. And it's pouring rain. So all of us had our phones in our cars because we had no service whatsoever. And I think my phone was dead. So I had it in the car. We each were in our own tents, my husband and I, and they were in their tent. I don't even know what time it was because I didn't have a clock. I want to say 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm awakened by, and it's still raining, but it's raining lightly, by these like screams, yells. It sounded human, but it didn't sound human. I really never heard anything, even with all of the Bigfoot, like recordings and stuff. I never heard anything like this, but I thought, what could this be? And I'm laying there and I was so terrified because it was, I don't know how close they were. They weren't that close, but they were close enough that I thought, whatever this is, I don't want to call attention. Even if it's a group of like people that are just, they sounded, like terribly scary, so freaky. Then as I'm listening and I'm running through the animals that it could be, like, it's not this, it's not,
you're like, flipping through that mental Rolodex, and you're just kind of like, okay, well, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this.
It's definitely not a bear, it's not coyotes. Although at one point I heard coyotes kind of joining in, and it went on for so long, and I thought, I really don't know what this could be other than Sasquatch. I don't know. Eventually I was able to, I think it was just like pure, I was so scared. I can't even tell you how scared I was. And I was like, I'm not going to wake up I don't want to wake my husband. I didn't want to move because I thought, I don't want to call attention to us.
Wow. We all do that. That's so crazy.
Yeah. But I was so terrified. And so, I'm trying to think, like, I don't even think I said anything to anybody about it at all until maybe we got home the next night. And I said to my husband, I said, I want to tell you what I think I heard. And then I said, but I need to listen like to recordings to see if there's any other animals that this could be. So anyway, do some internet, and I still couldn't find anything. There's definitely not an animal. Still couldn't find anything though that would sound like a Sasquatch. That sounds Sasquatch, So
okay. So at this point, was this the first night? Was this the first night you guys were
Yes.
camping?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And it was the first night. And then because it rained so hard, and then we really did need to move. My daughter-in-law didn't like it there. You know, it was really, you know, it was kind of creepy, you know, and so.
Now, were you all four in the same tent, or like you guys were in
No,
separate tents?
we were in separate tents. So my husband and I were in one tent, and my
they were
son
in
and
another
daughter
tent.
were in another tent with their little dog. So, all right. So then, you know, that happened. And then I thought that is really, to me, they're seem much more real now, right? Because like that, I cannot explain that.
Right.
That
it was in your face. It was in your face.
Yeah.
This is something, your paradigm shifted, basically.
Yes, it did. It did.
For real.
The screams and the like yells were way too long. A person couldn't sustain it. I also could feel, not all of it, but there were two, because I believe there were like maybe 6 to 8 of them.
Oh, wow.
Because they were like, you know, as I'm laying in the tent and I'm looking, and I could hear like going, you know,
kind of coming back, crossing each other, like they're okay.
Yeah, and
were they answering each other? Was it like one would go off and then another one?
No, it didn't really seem. They were like
just,
you know, kind of mixing in. It was just.
Did it seem like they were agitated that you were there, or they were maybe trying to scare you guys off?
I don't think it had anything to do with us, probably, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I think they were just doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know, whether they knew we were there or not, whatever. What does it matter, you know, to them?
Yeah.
But I was just so yeah. So yeah.
I would have been like, hey, get the gun ready. I would have been like,
I mean, but I was thinking, if there's 6 to 8 of these things, right? This is, and then they all, oh my gosh, like this is the monster that you always, you know, that you kind of dream about but fear about. And it could, what if I called attention to us anyway? So then, so really nothing else. And I got to tell you though, I finally heard the sound months later, and it was very similar. I think it's called the Ohio Screams or
the Ohio Howl.
Yes, that is almost identical to what I heard. Now, since then, I have heard identical to what, and it was, we had the guy, we had his, we're going to have him on in a couple days onto our show, but Jack Sack is what he goes by. And he lived in Oregon at the time, the exact same call. So I don't remember if you heard those. Anyway, but just identical, which then talking to Jack, we found out like he was about maybe like a 75 as the crow flies miles from where I was. So that's not, and it was months later. So it's not, you know,
not out of the realm of possibility.
Not out of the realm, absolutely, definitely. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that was that. Nothing really. But again, they just became so much more real. Then I think in let me see, March, probably, I'm trying to think, March of 2021, I started to notice weird things in the forest next to us, which borders our property. And then driving to our house, you go through, you know, all this forest that's addressed. And I started to notice weird things. But I don't know. It's just things like one of the things that I did notice walking in was this, it almost looked like maybe bushcraft is what I thought it would be, but because it was like two trees lined up, and then there was like a, how do you like it, like a half of a, let me see, 3 sides of a square, okay, leaned against a tree. Then there was like a bunch of ferns and leaves and stuff on top of it, which I'm like, that's a pretty cool shelter. But what is weird about this is that where it would be so dumb for a human to be here in that spot because it's cliffside. I mean, our cliff is about 90 feet behind our house, and it's about 100 feet, 120 feet where this is. And I thought, so like that's like, man,
you're kind of like, there's no way a human would put, or why would someone at that point? You're probably like, why would somebody do that?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
It's like, and like, man, if that's kids, gosh, that's so unsafe. Whatever,
Yeah.
So then, but just things like that. I found big trees that were like, now I know, like made into an X, that were kind of pushed over, and into this huge X. Like, that's weird. But again, but it could have been, it could be nature. I mean, we have a lot of winter storms. Okay. So, a lot of wind. In December of 2021, we had a massive snowstorm. We don't normally get snow here, but we did have a massive snowstorm. We all kind of got trapped here for a few days. And so I went out into the woods with my son and my daughter's fiance, and we found this cool little, and I think I'd sent you a picture of it, which I now know they would be called like a birthing hut. It's a little wood igloo.
I have that. Do you want me to show the picture? We can share that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. You keep going while I pull it up.
Yeah. So, and at the time, I think the picture that I sent you, it's the snow's melted, but because it was deep snow. But I thought, wow, that was really neat. We all thought that was neat, and my son like crawled in it and said, it kind of, he said it smells weird and I don't want to go. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think you should go in it at all. But
he said it smelled weird. He said, oh no, that smells weird. I would have been like, let me get in there. Wait, hold on. Give me my gloves. Give me my tweezers. I would have been like, Inspector Gadget.
Well, and I'd also, though, but you don't know what it could be, what kind of a den it could be. But he did say it seemed like there could be like a part of it could be you'd like maybe dig down in, so there could be a hole. But I'm like, get out of there! Just get out of there. So, and I think that was that. Did you find it yet? It's just
yeah.
If not, we. Okay.
No. I know I have it, guys. Okay. Give me 1 second.
This is the story of mine. Hi, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Here we go. I thought I had saved it to my desktop. That's what I was looking for. I don't know where it went to. Here we go.
So I'll just,
now I got it. Yeah, this is a very interesting picture. This is super, I was like, wow. And you're right. It does have like that igloo shape to it. And then it's got the two sticks in front of it, like as an X. It's got things woven all through it.
Even know that was like, honestly, I didn't even know that was like a thing, because when I showed this picture, months later, somebody said, oh my gosh, look at the big X, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that when I took the picture, because I wasn't that familiar with tree structures and glyphs, and it honestly didn't even really interest me before. It didn't at all. I was like, I want to know about Bigfoot, not all this other stuff. So
now, where you guys found this was this also on the side of like the ridge or the cliff, or where?
No, it's a little further. It's further in. It's not.
It's further in.
Yeah,
but in the same area. But now this is in the same area where you were camping.
No, I'm sorry. This is where we live. Yeah, this is
you found this.
Yes.
Where you live
next to,
and you still live there.
Yes.
Brave woman, Barb. Holy cow.
I mean, my husband grew up on a farm, and he was, he's a hunter, and so I'm not. That didn't really. It's not uncommon. We've had a cougar through here and a bear, and so
is this the only one you've ever found?
Other than the bushcraft thing, like I'm saying now, since
but
then,
I mean, but anything that's this igloo kind of
not that perfect igloo shape. No, this is
Okay.
so now behind this, which it's, you can't really tell by the picture. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna include them. But
Mhm.
there was it was like almost like a hall was made, but it was grass and ferns and like all twisted together.
Okay.
Just a tangle. And we have a lot of vines too, because there's a lot of wild blackberries that are everywhere here. So just this big, and there was like one taller chamber, and then there was like a hall, and then another one, and then another one. And that was about 20 feet wide, maybe, and or long. And then I don't know how wide, because I couldn't get back to I couldn't get to the back of it, because
Wow.
that's where the cliff is. That was closer to the cliff. But I thought, see, how that is not possible. This thing was not possible for humans to make this. You would need to have machinery to do this, to make this. Um, and and there was no machinery that was brought in, because it's completely like all the trees are there. It's like pretty tight,
Right.
there's no way
There's
somebody
no
brought
way.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why would you do that anyway?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
what I have, what I think that they do is, I think they really almost like clean up the forest. So, because, there's a lot of just deadfall and things that fall. And
Mhm.
it seems
Mhm.
to me like they just kind of clean things up and tidy them. And if there's a tree that's fallen, they'll prop it up against
Now, do
another.
you find these areas where you think that they're kind of like cleaning house,
Mhm.
um, are they maybe near game trails? Are they near,
Mm,
water? Are they
I mean, we have the Puget Sound is right,
so it's
but
just
it's
right the
all.
water, so there's water
Yeah,
there,
and
there's
yes, which is, there's plenty of, shellfish, fish,
right, right,
um
right.
plenty of whatever that I think they eat cockles, a lot of things for them
Mhm,
to eat.
mhm.
We have a small population of deer here, black-tailed deer. So,
Okay.
I don't know if they're actually, eating deer, maybe occasionally. But there's a lot of, rabbits, and I've never seen rabbits though. There's a lot of squirrels and
Well
rabbits and little game.
okay, so
Um,
you have smaller so you have little,
mhm.
like, rodent type kind of,
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
um
Yeah. And that's something that does, that I wonder about, like, what do they
mhm.
eat? But then we also have so many ferns and grasses and berries.
Yeah.
I mean, just about any kind of berry that you want.
I will
Um,
tell you what I've noticed in Florida is wherever we find activity, there's always a lot of ferns, and
yes.
I don't know why, but it's loaded with ferns.
Hmm. Hmm.
If an area is loaded with ferns, I can almost guarantee something we're gonna hear
Yeah.
something. We're gonna,
Really. Yeah.
have some kind of activity. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
get it's interesting that
Oh
there's
yeah,
that.
and we have tons of ferns, all
Wow.
kinds of different ferns. Um, so, but there really wasn't anything, from finding that. And in in March of 2022, my son and it was his fiance at the time that we went camping with. She's his wife now. Okay, they got married in our backyard, and
Mhm.
so we, whatever, cleaned everything was cleaned up and blah blah blah. The week after the wedding, I look out and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Because, like I said, we're on a steep kind of, an incline,
Mhm.
and there's several, I don't know what you would say, just like retaining walls, I guess, with um, various vines, things to keep the steep, to retain the pitch of the. It's
Uh-huh.
just what you have to do.
A
But
retaining wall, right.
yeah, yeah, it was a retaining wall, and then above it, they're called kinnick or winterberry, and it's this very strong tangle of a plant that is there, and they have berries on them, and anyway, it's like I- it's dug up like that, and like, what would have done that? What in
Mhm.
the world would have dug this up? And I thought, now this is really interesting. That really, and my husband was like, yeah, I don't know, because then you could see that these things were like ripped. And if you like if you were, when you try to cut these vines, they're so strong. You have like broken like a, pair of clippers, like trying to cut them. They're very, very strong. You have to literally like saw through them. These things are pulled out of the ground and just like broken in half. And there were little piles of the berries, like little piles of maybe like 30 of them in little piles.
Like arranged. So they were like arranged in little, wow.
Yeah. So,
well, we know, I mean,
but I know what else who would do? What animal would do that? It's just, yeah. So let's see.
So how did you finally figure out that you were having consistent activity at your house?
Okay.
So how did that develop?
Yeah. So, that's spring. In August, we had done some cleaning up to fireproof all around our house, because wildfires. So, and there's an area of the forest that we own right next to us. And we kind of cleaned the brush and cut down some really small trees. The next day, maybe within a few days, there's a big tree break. I mean, and it was like, oh my gosh. And
you heard it.
We didn't know. We saw it. You could see it. We walk out and it's like I'm looking out my family room window and there is this tree and it's like broken, but it's also twisted. It's like not the tree, like a big part of the tree was like one of the branches, but big, and it's over. And my husband said, "Oh, your friends, they must not have liked that we cleaned up that, we should have stayed out of there." So we
got new neighbors, honey.
I know, but they're like, don't mess around in our forest. That was just weird. And so, but we did not have any rain, any windstorms or anything. This just,
it made no sense.
Why this would have
one branch, random, not just broken, not just but broke and then twist
like under.
Yeah, whenever you see that, that is so amazing to me, that whole, when I see things like that too, I'm like,
and then weirdly within a week, then there's another tree that has been pushed over and now it's it's intermingled with that tree and then that tree, they were too far away for them just to like that. When that fell, it didn't fall on that one. I saw that it didn't fall on that one, but now the other tree's fallen and now they're like formed a big X. And so I'm like, okay, now I want to start to talk to people about this because I feel like this is something that I can. So I was talking to people, and one of the people has been such a great mentor is Mike Scott. He does Understanding Bigfoot. He does a podcast, and he said, they might be building a blind because if you've removed, kind of their shelter, not shelter, but like their ability to spy on you without you seeing them, he said they might be just trying to, build that back up. So I thought, well, yeah. So let's see then. So that was in September or August. So in September, I found a 20-inch footprint, and this was in our yard, up by our like a garage, and that was just completely. I did measure it, and I have all them, and I have pictures and stuff, but I didn't cast it. I thought, I don't know. I just, again, all this stuff, Marty, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, I really wasn't taking anything, like I was taking it seriously, but I wasn't. I know it sounds so dumb in hindsight,
No, I totally get it because, it's like, even in life, right? It happens to us. We'll see we see a red flag.
Yeah.
But we're like, okay, it's there. And then you're back. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another red flag. There's another red flag. And it's almost as if it has to be standing in like it takes a lot for you to
Yes.
literally, because our brains just don't work that way. You know, we just don't go, oh, yep, okay, I'm accepting that for exactly what you know what I mean? No, we got to process things. It takes time
Well,
for us to
right.
kind of
And I
like,
also, don't want to
you
be
know,
like exaggerating like an alarmist, and like, oh my gosh, I have Bigfoot, like, and
right.
well, okay, crazy lady, this could be things that all these things separately could probably be, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that it could be something else.
Right.
I mean, but it could be explained possibly away. So Mike Scott had said to me, okay, now if you are comfortable, Barb, he said, I think that you should kind of go in there where in where I've walked so many times. And he said, and see, kind of try to document. This is after the tree break and the big X was made. And he said, but now what you don't want to do is, he said, you don't want to don't take your phone in and have your phone out, walking around like this, because he said, you're not going to see something if you do. So I thought, okay, well, I'm definitely taking my phone in, because I don't know if I want to see anything, right? I don't care if I don't see anything. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But I also if they watch me, then they know that I'll have my phone. I usually have my phone. I have it hanging in a like a one of those like on a lanyard, in a little plastic thing around my neck. So they're used to. So that's what I did. I just had it going. I didn't have it up, but I kind of walked around, and I was saving the part that that little wood igloo thing. I was saving that for the end. So I was probably in there about an hour. And I'm making my way over to the igloo, because that's the closest to our house. And all of a sudden, I hear this like grunt huff, like two of them.
Boy.
That was like, so
that was right. That was one
like,
of those
okay,
moments where you're just like,
oh geez, yeah, like whoa. And then so I thought, I kind of just it's backed up, and then I thought, all right, I think I probably should like try to go further. And I'm like, no, I'm not going further. Am I crazy? I'm not doing that. So I just kept backing up, and then I turned around and I'm walking and I'm looking over my shoulder, because I know, you don't want to run if it is some other sort of a predator. I don't know what it would be. But I didn't want to run. All of a sudden I got this extreme vertigo. Like I was so dizzy and a little bit sick to my stomach, and there was this like loud ringing in my ears, like this whooshing.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my god, what's happening to me? And this is something that I did not know that this was a thing either. I'd never heard about this happening. So I'm thinking, oh my god, am I like having a heart attack or a stroke, or what's happening? So I kind of, at that point, I mean, it just as strong as these symptoms hit me, all of a sudden they were like completely gone. And then I realized I'm not even walking back toward my house. Like I was going like a completely different direction. And I had full intention to go. And I was like, wait a minute. And if you would see this area, it's not that big. And I mean, it's like ridiculous that I was that disoriented. It was crazy that I was that disoriented. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's good though that I didn't go that way, because I would have probably fallen into a ravine. I don't even know. So
how long? Did you have missing time?
Oh,
no,
it was not just, that I know
it was just
of.
Kind of like a moment that it happened.
Like I feel like I was aware. I think I was aware of all that was happening, because that was very momentarily that that I had those symptoms. Then corrected my course, like, wow, that happened, corrected my course. I'm walking, but then it hits me again. So then now I'm so, you know what? And I kept thinking, oh my God, am I going to am I having a heart attack? What is happening? Am I having a stroke? Why is this I'm going to be dead? I'm going to be dead out here in the woods and my family will find me later. I don't know. Cause I was so what you have a dream where you're trying to walk forward and you can't walk and I also was so disoriented. And I remember I could see one part of the garage of our garage we have. And I just kept thinking, okay, just walk, just look at that, just walk, just come on, do it. You can do it. Just walk, walk, walk. So that's what I was doing. Finally get to it. And right when I got to right beyond there is our driveway. Right when I walked out into our driveway, everything like that it went away. And I was like nothing. I was completely fine. And so I know it was weird. It was, again, and not knowing that this is something that is common. So I am walking down the driveway, like going, and I'm like, it's really excited to tell my family like about the grunt. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have my phone. Whoa, I had my phone going. So I look down, but my phone's dead. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I have no idea when the phone went dead. I don't know. So get back in the house, plug the phone in, and I'm telling my family what's going on. And they're like, I'm like, no, this thing really grunted at me. I swear. And, like, okay. Well,
did you have any other interactions or anything like close to the house, like up at your house?
Not at this point. There was not at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway,
we're in 2021 at this point.
We're in 2022 now. We're in 2022. We are in October of 2022. Yeah.
Okay. So you're heading into winter.
Yep. So Marty, I got that. When my phone comes back on, it was still running like it. And so I was able to hear the HUD,
So you heard it.
So
I had confirmation.
I had video, then they're like, oh, and then my husband's like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a bear. And, all right. So that was pretty cool. Then I was talking to, I think it was Mike later that night, Mike Scott, who I said is like was my mentor. I was talking to him later that night or messaging, and I told him I said, yeah. And I said, and I was so scared. I thought I was having a heart attack. And he goes, what do you mean? And then when I described it, he said, oh, they like zapped you. Like they hit you with infrasound. And I'm like, what? Because I did not know I didn't know that was a thing. I'd never heard really of that. Like I've heard about people getting hit with infrasound, but I didn't know the symptoms and I didn't know what, So let's see. Then, like right after that, things started to we kept getting on our home security system. I kept getting movement, like motion alerts.
Oh, okay.
But there was nothing. There wasn't anything on it. I'm thinking if they
something was triggering it, but you weren't seeing
so many times. Yes, overnight because there were 3 cameras in particular that I just kept. I'd wake up, there'd be like 20 notifications. Like what in the world? And this was going on and going on.
Yeah, so, especially when you know that. Yeah, over here there's nobody, and over here there's nobody, and Are there a lot of cars or
no, there's not. There's not cars. There wouldn't be humans. Okay. If there's any wildlife, I would see it. So then I realized that I could listen live to it. So I started to do that. And I think that
oh my gosh, I don't know. Barb, I don't know if I could do that. Because I'm be honest,
but you know what? But I didn't know that I could record. There we go. My son's like, Mom, I think you can record. Why don't you just record this? And so I'm like, oh, so this is going, this was like maybe 2 months later. I figured out I can.
So here you are staying up like every single night till like 4 a.m. You're all like
trying to listen. Or if I do hear anything or see anything, it doesn't matter because I don't have any proof.
I love it. Barb's got like 20 Red Bulls and Monsters sitting over here on her nightstand, trying to stay awake, listening to. OMG, that's hilarious. I would die.
I know.
That's great.
So, and in the meantime, I was starting to find I was finding footprints. Not a lot. It's literally like there's, compacted. It's not conducive to find footprints here.
So you're okay. So you're the substrate where you're at. It's like super hard. It's like dirt or like clay.
Yep, like compacted, compacted like mulch.
Okay.
and so it's not even anyway, it's just not, there's not a
Okay.
lot, even not even a lot of that. So in something that was kind of cool in November, I found this, it's a glyph now. I didn't really know that much about glyphs, but it was it looked like a boat to me. And that was, again, under our house where we found, around the area that we found the first
Okay.
footprint back
Now,
in,
did you guys
back in
have
2018.
did you have a boat?
We do have boats. We have two boats.
Okay.
We have like a small
Okay.
one and then a bigger one. And so, but I thought like, I don't, and who would do this? Nobody would be under
Right.
there, and so,
Mhm.
and my daughter's fiance, he was like, oh yeah, he said, I saw it. He said, I like, I walked by that and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But, anyway,
Mhm.
so, then toward the end of December, I started to get like fantastic audio, on the cameras. Not every night, but some nights. And that was around the time when I said, my son was like, Mom, you can record this. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got some great recordings, but didn't realize that I needed to like, download them elsewhere
So
for
you're
like,
thinking they're gonna,
I'm
yeah.
thinking, oh, they're going to be there forever. No. So I lost probably really about 10 great, because it was right around Christmas time. It was before Christmas. This was like grunting and gruff growling and snorting, and and it really sounded like apes. And I was like, I don't even know what this could be. Like
Wow.
yeah.
Now, when
So
you say that they sounded like apes, in what way? Like,
like if you've like a
because
silverback gorilla, like if you have,
uh-huh.
um and just the
A lot of
noise,
like,
the like, and
yeah, the little
this, like you'll hear it because
mm, yeah,
on
yeah. You sent me
yeah.
some audio. I want to get to that. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
gosh, yeah.
anyway, yeah, because I think that was pretty much, I'm looking over my notes. Oh, and and I also, which I didn't send this to you, but like, it also, I think that maybe they're now juveniles, like are running around on the house, because you could literally hear like it, like percussive, but it sound like running around, on
Okay.
our one deck. And so somebody told me, oh yeah, they're probably juveniles up on the roof. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? So, and so, yeah, we pretty much
Wild.
consistently, I've now, they've started to like show up in pictures. I every time when I go into the forest, I kind of like talk to them out loud and, hi, I'm here to visit. And I'm not going over to that, which I think is the birthing hut, because I really think that there's little ones here. I know there's juveniles here. And so I kind of want to respect their space. I'll go in there once, the breeding season is over. But do you know Robin Haynes McRae?
Oh yeah, I've had her on my show several times. Yeah, she's
Amazing, right? So
amazing.
I was,
Okay, wait, back up. Hold
yeah,
up. Hold
yeah.
up.
Okay.
You just said something that was super interesting though.
Okay.
You just said, do you think that when they are breeding or when they're having their babies? What
Well,
gives you
I,
that thought?
well, well, she's part of that. That's because, yeah, she's the one that,
Kind of gave you a little more like in-depth insight of
yes,
what
because she
going on.
was on a show, and I just like, put in the chat, and she was telling people about, almost like remote reading, like how she can read a situation. And I said, Robin, can you tell me do I have any Sasquatch living around me? And because I was still like, I don't know. And she said, well, she's like, well, yes, you do. You actually have two clans. And she said there's like 26 and two fairly large clans. 26 is the one that lives near you. And then the one that lives like almost with you there's 17. She said, now there's babies that are, there's babies that are going to be born. There were like two brand new, like, or two like toddlers that were fairly new. And she said they both have matriarchs, these two clans of matriarchs that are both very old, very powerful. The one's like 200 years old. And and again, I'm like, oh my gosh, that just blew my mind, which made sense that there were that many, because I really thought that there seemed like there could be a lot.
Right. Because
So
there just seems to be a lot of activity, a lot of different kinds of activity as
yes,
well, not just
yes,
like you're
mhm.
only getting audio or you're only getting
Right,
footprints or
right,
you've got
yeah,
it all.
like
You've
the
got like this whole
dug,
firestorm of everything
the
going
like the
on.
side of the, like I said, the side of the hillsides,
Mhm.
dug up, or you'd find like almost like some of the little berries are like stripped from, and then we have
Mhm.
some bushes that are berries, and you see them like stripped. So definitely something that I've never seen anything like this happen here, prior to this past year. So the other thing was that, remember the glyph I said that I found under the house? That was a boat. That I mean, I think
Mhm.
it was in the shape of a boat. Then it changed into, it was the shape of like a house. And I I don't know what to, like. I don't even know what to, like. I don't even know what to think about that. And it was so similar to Barb Shoop, who lives in Washington State. Also, she's about an hour from me. She had almost an identical, but hers was like more in the shape of her house. So I don't know. I don't know if what.
Mhm.
I know that we're working on the house. We're renovating, so maybe they were kind of indicating that. I don't know, but
Mhm.
anyway, so I'm trying to think. I don't know. Sorry.
I'm still kind of like, wow, like this is, you just have it, you have so much going on. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Mhm.
Now, at what point did you say to yourself, I want to start keeping track? Maybe I need to write this stuff down
Yeah.
I mean, at what point did it turn from there may be something going on? Okay, there's definitely
Mhm.
something going on.
Mhm.
And now
Yeah.
what's your next step? What did you start
Yeah. It
doing?
was, I think the when I really, the tree break, and then,
Mhm.
that was, oh, and then made into the X. That was
Mhm.
like, oh wow, there's definitely something going on. And then within the week, being gruff, huffed at or grunted at
Uh-huh.
over by that, like that little wood hut, so that was like, okay, now I'm going to start to keep track. So I started to take a look
Right.
at pictures, and and scour for, I had been going over into that area, of the woods, a lot more, um, after, like, more toward the winter, I guess, because I thought, okay, hopefully they've gone, because that's what people, I assume that they left, that they don't stay here. They're just like passing through. But
Right.
then I found
You
out, no, they will leave.
are living there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
that was what I was hearing, like on the cameras and stuff overnight. So
Mhm.
yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, so I
So
just
what do you okay, so you hear this information from Robin.
mhm.
How do you feel about that? Were you at some point kind of like, holy cow, I thought maybe I had one or two, and now you're like, oh wow, there's a
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
you've got,
Mhm. Yeah.
this.
Yep. Yes, I was like, wow. In the before Robin told me that, I was put in contact with a guy, who is like probably a neighbor, you'd say. And I wouldn't have known him if it wasn't, for Facebook and for
Mhm.
my group. He had joined, and he said, he sent me a person, PM, and he said, are you aware, like, that we have a clan living here? And so he was telling me all
Yeah.
about his experiences. And so, yeah, it all just became very real. And so I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah,
um,
I mean, it's
kind
one
of,
of these, you know, we I get it. Like I so get it because it's, when you're just trying to live life, right? You're just trying to live life and then all of a sudden it's like, holy cow,
yeah,
this is really, really
yeah,
happening.
yeah. Yeah, because I do like kind of worry, like I hope it stays, everything is very peaceful, and I hope it stays that way. I try to respect them, and I want them to respect us. And that is, that occasionally it worries me, but I know so many people that kind of coexist with them peacefully. There's just things that you don't do. You don't want to feed them. You don't want to, I don't want to harass them or do. But I do feel like I'm very blessed because, there's so many people that I know that have to go out and hunt for them. And I don't have to do that.
Right.
So,
oh my gosh,
I'm not brave enough to, I don't even like to go out on the deck. Like we have a side deck that's like right, the forest is right there. And that kind of creeps me out. Like at night, not during the day. It's fine. But
so at night, you're just kind of like, well, okay. Like are the areas that are close to your house. Okay. I have a few questions.
Yeah.
The area that's surrounding your house, the forested areas. Now, are these, because I've never been to the Pacific Northwest. So are these like are they thick with like underbrush, or are they just like very tall trees?
Yes.
That you can see between. So it's kind of everything. It's like different kind of. Okay.
Yeah. You've got big fir trees. I mean, they're probably 50, 70 feet tall. And then you have the aspens, which are the thinner ones, and there's, but there's a lot of underbrush. There's a lot of just bushes. It's just really, really thick. And the way that the topography is that it's kind of very like woo. So for me to walk straight, I can't even walk straight from like our yard like over into there would have to be a path I'd have to take. So there's a lot of places for them to hide. And again, it's there's probably, gosh, I don't even know how many square miles of this complete forest that they can just are free to, there's creeks and
so now let me ask you this. So earlier you were talking about the property owner, and this property is, you said it's two sides of your house, like your property. It's on two of the four sides, right?
Yes.
So you said they have security and that they have cameras, and have you ever spoken to those owners and asked them if they've caught anything on their cameras, or if their security guards have ever seen or heard anything weird?
I haven't, because I don't want to lose my privileges. Like my husband and I, we've been given permission, to
go into their property, because your properties butt up to each other.
Yeah. And he said, and you can walk, because they have a manager, and he said, hey, you can walk wherever, and if you want to, just let me know, or whatever. He said, just, tell them you have my permission if you run into anybody. So I really am hesitant, because I don't want, I don't want to lose the privileges, because that, so that's really, I want to.
What makes you think they would take away your privilege?
I don't know.
You're just like, I don't want to mess up a good thing. Right.
Because that would be so terrible if I wasn't even allowed. I mean, that would really just be devastating. Not even if there were no Bigfoot, it would be devastating not to have that beautiful forest, right there. And I wouldn't be allowed to go,
really. Because I'm very like, if I get cranky, okay, some people get hangry. I get cranky if I don't get out to get grounded. And if I'm not feeling that, like, I get it. Like, we just don't want to lose that. So
no, because really it's very important, to me.
So they've never mentioned anything to you either then. So they've never said, oh, hey, Barb,
I ask our neighbors, and they know that are on the other side. And I said, have you heard anything? And they said, no, they've never heard anything. But I I think that, maybe the opportunity will arise, and then I will ask, but but I don't want it to be like a, drop them a text and hey, it's going to have to be kind of face to face. So,
let's start. Let's play some of this audio.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's do that. Now, do you have, because they were, I mean, you kind of, I didn't change the name of the files other than just like adding, like adding your name to the front of the file. So, all right.
And this is all thanks to Chris Hensley, because he has amplified and kind of cleaned up some of
the
these
audio for you.
Yeah. It's not, it's not easy. Some of it was not easy to hear. Some of it's completely, you can definitely hear, very easy, but.
All right. So, hold on one second. I think I already had it open down here. Yes, I did. Okay. All right. Now, let's see.
I'm sorry. I haven't even I don't know if there's any questions in the chat. I haven't even been paying attention. It kind of it gets me worked up. It gets me worked up and
I know. So, well, what I try to do anyways is I try to, I ask everybody to, if they have questions, put everything in caps so it's easier for me to see. And then I star them. Like if I see them in the comments, I star them, and then we'll go back to them at the end.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we're gonna go. That's what we're gonna do. All right. So now, is there a specific file that you want to start with, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't really matter.
So when you hear certain files, you're going to know which one's which, right? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Okie doke. There we go. Close that. All right. Wow.
So this one is made me realize that they can make themselves sound like frogs. Those frogs, because it sounds like frogs.
Yeah.
Because that frog is the frog. It's like having an exchange with, and that happens in other audio that I've captured. But the frog sounds, and then you'd hear like, the grunting or whatever, the huffing.
So how far away now? So this audio that you're sharing with us tonight. This is from your security system.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And this is wow. This is gonna. So is it? And it's attached to your house. It's not like out in the woods or anything like that.
Right? No, that particular one is up on we have a garage that's up toward the front of the property, but it's maybe 75 feet maybe from the house. So yeah, it's not far. So that's
that's close.
Got that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is super close. Like
most of it I catch on our side deck, that's just right. I mean,
holy
25 feet from the house. So
that's wild.
Yeah, if I see the date, I can tell you before you play it. I can see what.
Okay, let me
tell
see.
you what. I kind of try to make notes. This
one is. Let's see, because I want to open this with. Hold on. The date. Let's see. Is it 061623? So June 16th, 2023.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
okay.
Now this one, okay. My daughter and her fiance are watching TV in our family room. So you can hear a television in the background, but it's almost sounds like it's singing and like a dog maybe barking, but it's not a dog though. And anyway, but you will hear some. Yeah.
All right. Let's check this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Marty. This is different. Yeah, this is 3 audios that I caught at one night. Sorry, it was so it's the first one is going to be it's like a call and then frogs, like almost like a woof or a call of frogs. Then there's going to be a tone. Chris said it. I got them like right in quick succession. So there's a tone in the middle, and then the next one is like singing, cooing, gulping, grunting, and then the next one is frogs, more that throaty grunt speech. So anyway, he just put them in. Yeah, this is.
So there's 3. Okay, so there's like 3 or 4 clips
and when
in
you
this
hear that,
one.
like,
So when we hear the little
tone,
tone,
that's
okay, so that's moving on to the next. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, here we go.
Did you hear that whistle?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
It definitely sounds like they're like, I mean, are they walking around your house, do you think? Like, I mean, are they it just sounds like they're right next to the, your house.
Well, see, part of it is I think that they're pretty close to the camera. And they're pretty close. But with him amplifying it, you can hear it so much better, because that was the problem, is some of this, before it's cleaned up, I didn't even know exactly what was. And then you also will hear so much more once he cleans it up. Just, background noise. Yeah. So.
And then at one point it sounded like, I mean, like they have to be talking to each other. I mean, there has to be more than one.
Yes.
I mean, there can't,
no,
but yet all at the same time, it does sound very like it's the same one over and over. Like,
I agree. Yes. Yeah.
it's so wild. Wow.
There's definitely the one that is so distinctive, maybe 2, that with, and it's more of that, like that deep, and like, I hope one is like, so he grunts, like he sounds like he's a sinus infection or something, but he always sounds like that. Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of the same individual you think that's
That's
coming
yeah, I think so. I
a lot.
unless they just
Okay.
sound alike. I think now there's been, a couple of new sounds more recently, but, yeah, see, Crystal was saying about I think I do hear wood knocking and rock
Mhm,
clacking. I hear that all
mhm.
the time, and they throw things at the camera, like, almost every night they're throwing things at the camera. Like, they know that I'm watching them. I think that
They
they can
know.
yeah, yeah.
They're like, oh, that's funny. Hold on, I accidentally. Oh my goodness, I hit the wrong thing.
It's
Hold on.
okay.
I tried to play it with the wrong program. I always forget I would kind of go like a I'm still learning how to use
Oh,
this Apple
yeah.
computer. Like
I
it's so not easy to,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I can't. I don't understand how they have become, like, so difficult. Maybe it's me.
Ah, well,
Mm,
from never using them, like I've always had iPhones, you know what I mean? But like
uh-huh.
to sit there and try to
Mhm.
like learn how to use an Apple,
Yes.
my Mac is so
Mhm.
different than a regular like PC. Like
Right,
it's
right.
I've had
Yeah,
to learn all of it.
yeah, yeah.
By my lonesome.
Mhm.
So, all right, here we go. All right, so this says whoops. So,
Okay. Oh, yeah. And there's birds. They are birds.
wow.
Now this one, and yeah, Chris is right. This was the only one I've gotten in the daytime, and I actually got this with my phone. I was out on my deck doing something, and I'm like, wait a minute, that literally sounds like a Bigfoot going whoop. And then I realized that I think what was but this thing was moving. So I
Mhm.
went over to the edge of the deck, and I'm film and I start recording. And I think that what was happening is there was a construction truck on our road and then the garbage truck. And I think it was like maybe a day watcher or something, because this is about
Okay.
in the middle of the day, maybe going through and like warning, the sleeping that's the only thing I could think of, because it was so, you could hear it moving in the whoop whoop, and I didn't catch them all, but I caught a couple, and it was actually like, if I would have, instead of standing there like, what is that, turn my phone on right. But anyway, so
No, but that's really awesome though, because you are catching daytime stuff. So it's like because a lot of people do, in my opinion, have this misconception that everything only happens at night. You
Mhm,
know what I
mhm.
mean? Like
Yeah,
only at
yeah.
night, nothing
Mhm.
nothing ever happens during the daytime, but I mean, I've I've seen and heard things during the day
Yeah,
more than nighttime. So
yeah. Yep, yeah.
um,
This is the one
okay,
this
so
is the one I believe that has the TV in the background, and then it's
okay.
like a singing, like a "woo," like bizarre.
Absolutely amazing. No, so that audio was at night. I mean, like at night. I mean, like
Yeah,
the
that was
whole like
about, I think it was about like
that
maybe
was.
around midnight because I know, yeah, my daughter and
Mhm.
her fiance were still awake. And so that was earlier. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive. Now that one, now that audio, it sounded to me like there was definitely, you could tell there were different individuals
Yes, you're right.
in this audio. Like there were, because you could almost tell that they were coming from different different directions even in
Yes.
this audio.
Right.
So
Right.
it wasn't like one individual, just kind of, one
Mhm.
or two. Like it sounded three or four different,
Yeah.
coming from
Yeah.
different directions. Some
Right.
seemed closer, others seemed
Yes.
further away.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And that,
That's awesome.
one of them, mimics our dog, like, to a T, like that, I
Really?
mean, but doesn't have a barking, like a cadence, when a dog's barking, if a dog was outside and it sees something, it's gonna bark, like, and it's not gonna
Mhm.
just do that, like, bark, 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 but there's been actually, like, about a week ago, it was doing it in the middle of the night, and I'm like, "Wait, I'm afraid, like, is our dog out? I mean,
Right.
I know it's
You're
not,
like,
but I have to get
yeah,
up
but
and
it's like
no,
your
he's
first.
laying in his bed. Yeah.
Yeah, because like that would be my first thought too. I would be in that same, I would be like, wait. Am I
Yeah.
hearing our dog? Am I
Yes.
hearing?
Yeah. And
Wow.
I know that I've
You're
had this
right.
conversation with Chris, and he said, "No, it's definitely," then you hear, "No, it's not a dog," but it does sound like it to your ear, your ears when um,
Wow. Okay, so now I have three more to play.
okay.
One of them says March 12th and one says March 19th. Are both of those from this year or
Yes.
from?
Yes, they're
Okay.
both from this year. Yep.
Okay.
And they're
All right.
pretty good. The one on March 12th almost sounds like you can hear speech, like it's like as if it's like I guess similar to the samurai sounds, chatter, maybe. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Chris he said it sounds like they're like it's like counting almost.
Wow.
Like 1, 2, I don't know. You'll see. I don't know.
Well, you never know. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I definitely think that there is like some sort of speech going on.
okay, let me just close these other ones so I don't
Okay.
get them
Yeah.
all like hit the wrong one. Okay. Let me put this down here. Bring this back up.
Yeah.
All right. Okey-doke. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. All right. Here we go. Wow. Still
Yeah.
playing, right? Wow. Can we play that again?
Sure.
I want to hear this one. I
Yeah.
want to hear this one again. And this isn't looped.
No, no, this is no, it's
It's just,
whatever, just the way that it was. Yeah. Nope, it's not looped.
I mean,
Yeah. It,
that,
yeah.
wow. Because I mean, there's clear pattern there.
Yeah.
Clear as day
Yeah.
pattern. As if it was looped. That's why I asked because I'm like,
No,
wait.
Yeah, Chris is not. He can confirm it.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely not pooped.
Impressive.
Yeah, I just,
Holy cow.
Yeah, the night.
And you haven't packed your bags yet.
No,
You're like,
no,
you're like,
definitely
I'm
not.
taking in my heels. I'm not
Yeah.
moving.
Nope.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. And I've got some questions. So, we've got 2 more pieces of audio. You
Yeah, I think
guys
they're worth hearing because they're short, but
in there.
it's
Yeah. No, I
but it's
want all of them. We're
because it's
going.
that
I wanna-
definitely that
yeah.
big one that that somebody had mentioned, maybe like a dominant one, maybe that
Okay.
everybody answers to. That makes sense.
Okay, so that was the March 12th audio.
Mhm.
This one is going to be the March 19th.
Okay. Yep.
This will be the March 19th.
This one, listen for the constant, like a like underneath, like you'll hear like an undertone.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
This I mean, I got to play it again, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I want to play it again.
I'm on.
I want to hear that. Unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Chris is right. Like, it's so strange how there's so many different sounds. Like, I mean, obviously there are way more, you know what I mean? It's not like, one or two of them. I mean, this is definitely like a lot of individuals on all these different audio. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So wow, we got one more here. Impressive. Okay. All right, here we go. Now this one's
this is a good one.
This is the
recent.
one.
Yes,
literally
and
August 9th.
Yes,
right?
I've
August
never heard
9th.
this one. This is like a cooing or whatever that I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Mhm.
It sounded towards the end, it also sounded like something hit the house.
Yeah, that's what he thought too. Yeah. That it could, I'm
Wow.
not sure.
Now I will tell you, have you ever heard of Snow White Bigfoot?
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
She has a channel and she has a group that she leaves all different kinds of like toys and things out for them, and they bring her things, and there's like she has so much activity. That cooing sound
Mhm.
I've heard. Now she's
Oh,
in
wow. Oh my
she's
gosh.
in Ohio, and I have heard that little like that that like
Ooh, yeah.
whine. It's like
Ooh,
a
yeah.
whine slash coo, like a little
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
uh-huh. I've heard very similar audio
Um,
from her place. You might
okay.
wanna, when you get a
Yeah,
chance, check out her
definitely.
channel.
Snow
Oh,
White
yeah,
Bigfoot, definitely.
she has so
Wow.
much evidence, you cannot even
Wow.
imagine.
Awesome.
So, wow, I'm like, that's awesome. That's a really stunning,
Thank
these
you.
are all very impressive, every single one
Wow.
of them.
Thank
There's
you.
not one that's they're all fabulous.
Thank you.
Um, so you're collecting quite a database out there
Yeah. Yep.
for the rest of us.
Yeah.
So
I'm
what
looking forward to December again because, like, that was like I said, I felt like
mhm,
I heard so much, but I wasn't able to record. Well, what I did record, I wasn't able to, I didn't keep it, so I didn't download it.
mhm,
So I'm kind of looking forward to
yeah.
to see, but who
So
knows?
do you do any kind of gifting with them, or habituation, or food giving, or any of those kinds of things with them?
No, I have done gifting as far as like I had like little rubber duckies, like
Uh-huh.
toys,
Mhm.
and some beads. One of the ducks went missing. And then the other one went missing like about a week later. But then it showed back up. The beads just stayed there. They didn't do anything with the beads. If I have we have a compost pile, so
Mhm.
they could clearly eat off of that if they, because I will put things out there, but no,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do like the gifting, especially not with food. I don't think it's fair to them, you
Okay.
know, and it's,
But
yeah, we
so you
heard some,
had so you had 2 ducks
yeah,
disappear,
yeah, yeah. But then one came
and
back,
one came back.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
kind of condition was it in? Was
It
it
was
dirty? Was
fine.
it
No, maybe like not super dirty. Maybe like it'd been in like it
been
was in the forest,
yeah,
kind of
right.
but it wasn't like grimy, filthy or anything. Yeah, I don't
Wow.
um
Okay,
so
Chris says yes, no peanut butter.
no, 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 and I go back and forth like maybe I was uh one another friend of ours, Russell, had said Easterbrooks. He said maybe put toys out,
Mhm,
and so I'm thinking
mhm,
of doing that, but
mhm.
I don't I don't know. I just don't want it to go. I don't want it to go wrong because it is so. I don't know. It's
Well,
so.
yeah, you never, like I said, because you never know the, intentions of the individuals, right? You
Yeah.
never know what their intentions are. Are they
Mhm.
trying to coax you out of your house? Are they, is it I always tell people, and I joke around all the time because I'm like, "Hey, look, you don't even know if that's a marriage proposal, right?"
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? It could be out there
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, Barb, I got a
Yeah.
big diamond ring waiting on you. It's 6,
Yeah.
6 pine trees to the right," and you know what I'm s like,
Yeah.
you never know,
Mhm.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I know, you're right, yeah,
we
yep,
really never know.
right.
Um, wow. Let's get to some of these questions. Let's see here. We've got okay, so let's see. All right. Shucking it down with cornbread. I love his name. I can't help it. I love it.
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
do you hear a lot of owls or
Yes.
owl-like sounds or even whistling at night?
Yes. Owls. A lot of owls that are not owls. They're because it sounds like something that is trying to be an owl, but it's not. It's
But
kind of
it's
missing the mark. There was another one which I didn't include this one, but it was really funny. It was like I think it was one that was uh mimicking a duck, and it's like sounds like a duck, and then all of a sudden it's like it was like to heck with it, like quack 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 quack. Like you're not even
okay.
trying anymore.
Right.
Remember that? Just remember that one.
I love it. And Brown Dwarf wants to know, has she seen orbs in her Bigfoot areas?
Yeah, I catch those on camera a lot. I haven't seen them with my, like my naked eye, but yeah,
And what do they
definitely.
look like? Are they certain colors? Are they darting around, floating
They're darting
around?
around. It's I can't tell because of it's like night vision on the camera.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any colors. It would just the
And
white.
then are they like little? Are they large? I mean, like
Some are large and like
like
come right at the camera, and it's like, whoa,
wow.
like again, because I think they know that I'm watching them. And then
Mhm.
some are maybe smaller, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to even say
You
because I'm looking at a little, I'm looking like on a
yeah.
little screen.
Do you have like motion sensor lights outside or floodlights? None
No,
of that.
we have,
Just
yeah,
your
well,
camera.
we have floodlights in the front of the house. And then at the street, this is kind of interesting. At the street, we have like a driveway,
Mhm.
on a pole. It's not motion censored. It's actually on a timer, and it shouldn't be. It's not even like some that if it gets too light, the light goes off. It's not even on that type of a sensor. It's just
Okay.
on a timer. But that has now started to go out periodically. Like I'm talking, it'll go out for a couple of minutes and then it comes back on.
And
And
that's
then I
on a
know
photo cell?
that is not, no, it's just on a timer. It's just on a
Oh,
timer.
just a straight timer.
Mhm. Yes, just a straight
Battery
timer.
operated?
No, it's like plugged to the house. It's like
Okay, so
attached. Boom.
hardwired.
Yes, hardwired. Yes. And my
Gotcha.
husband checked it out because at first I was like, maybe there's
Wow.
something going, is there something wrong? And our daughter had come home one night from work and she's like,
And
Dad, the light's out, and so he's done everything. He's like, no, he changed the bulb. He said, there's nothing
how
wrong.
high up is it?
It's pretty high up. I don't know. Like what, like a regular light pole is what,
Yeah.
it's about that height.
Wow.
Um,
Like a
so
street light? Like a
yeah, like a
street
street light.
light?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Okay,
like a street light.
okay.
Yes, yes, it's
So
pretty high up. So
15 feet or
yeah,
so?
let's say, yeah, probably 15, 20 feet.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and I don't know, I just feel like they must be able to manipulate. They must be able to
Could
manipulate it.
be.
Um, so because I feel like I will see movement up. This is at our the front driveway
Mhm.
camera, and I feel like like I said, I can see
Right.
movement. But then the light will go out. So, are they trying to cover up? I don't know.
Who
Um,
knows?
let's see.
Yeah. Well, if it's on a timer too, I mean, you would think they're gonna know when it's coming on, when it's going off.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Mhm,
if it's
mhm.
annoying the daylights out of them because it is
Yeah.
hardwired and it's not,
Mhm,
so it's
mhm.
interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Shucking it down with cornbread asks, do you have any possible Indian mounds like graves with piles of rocks in certain areas?
No, but I'll tell you, right across the water from us, there's an island that the tribe, one of the tribes that lived here, they would put their dead in canoes and
Uh-huh.
hang them like on, up like up in the trees on this island. It's Cuts Island. If anybody wants to check it out, it's Cutts island,
Mhm.
and they also call it like Dead Man's Island. So yeah, so that was
Wow.
something that they did the late 1800s, early 1900s. So
Wow.
that's relatively recent. So I'm
Mhm.
imagine that would be a sacred place.
Brian wants to know, Barb, do you notice the wildlife get quiet the closer that they get?
I can't really say because I don't know, but I can tell you that some nights it's it's kind of like it's just loud outside, and some nights it's completely silent. So
Interesting.
yeah. So I have a feeling that is, but I think that they're around most of the time now, like during the summer. So
during the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're now because what do you guys consider your summer?
Our summer is like June to probably September would be the summer. And then that's
Okay.
So
Brian wants to know, do you notice a pattern in the time of activity at night?
Yes. So I'd say most of the activity, most of the audio is like maybe 1:30 to 3:30. But then I also sometimes catch it. I catch it earlier too. So it's kind of like now, I mean, I'm trying to make like I was not sleeping at all at night, and it was like, okay, this is starting to like affect my mental health and my health,
Right.
So I try to just do it like a couple times a week, and if I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I'll listen real quick, and then like, okay. But what's hard is like if you hear something that really like that cooing one, I'm like, what the heck is that?
You're like, okay, like I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I would want to hear the real real time stuff going, because I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would just be like,
that's true. Because that does get and it's a little
because
scary.
sometimes like when I go like when like when I'm out or whatever, like sometimes I'll take my like earbuds, right? And I'll lay there for several hours, and I'll listen and things. But when I'm done, I don't want to hear anything. I turn on the audio recorder.
Yeah.
And I put in my earbuds, and then I'll just put on a little, I don't know, podcast or a song or meditation music or something. And then I'll go out. Cause I can't I don't want to be kept up, terrorized. I kind of feel like, I'm just going to zone out, I'm just going to let it all happen. And then I'll find out when I listen to the audio the next day.
Yeah.
Roger wants to know, has Barb set up any trail cams in the woods away from her house?
Yep. We did. We have one that we kind of move around, and it's not it doesn't catch, it's never caught anything. And it was funny because my husband thought he was going to be tricky, and like he's like, oh, they'll never see this. Put the trail camera underneath the audio, one of the security cameras on a like a ladder that he had sitting there. Well, they were like pissed that night because they were throwing things at the camera, not like rocks, but little pebbles. And I mean, it was like barrage. Like they're like, yeah, we know that that's there. So and I also after like 2 or 3 times of doing that, I'm like, I'm not going to try to do it because I don't want to tick them off. And I like this exchange that if they're going to let me hear them, sometimes they'll let me see them, on my camera. And so I don't want to rock the boat.
Right. Okay. Shucking it down with cornbread. Barb, have you heard any low chattering or constant muttering?
Yeah, definitely. Some of that you can hear in the recordings, and also because like sometimes I can hear like it's almost like a female tone and then a male tone, just as if like two people are talking and out in the woods, but that wouldn't be. Then there's also this sound that it's almost like a man on a microphone. That's somebody on a microphone like talking.
Like a megaphone kind of thing.
I know, like it's actually like a wired microphone, like somebody
like
on
a CB radio kind of a thing, like that, or
like just if there's a guy, like if you go to somewhere and the announcer is like, has it, and you're hearing like, but it's not. I've never been able to get it on, on audio yet. Nothing. Yeah.
Brian wants to know, did the recordings coincide with the light going out?
Yes. Yeah. Because I do all, mostly this is all manual now. You know what? That's the other thing. They don't do that motion thing. Remember I said that I was at the beginning, I was getting alts. They don't do that anymore, which that's kind of curious too. That does not happen. Yeah. So
you're getting all of this. You're getting all this
by me
and
manually.
The camera itself is not coming
nope,
on.
It's not catching. No. Wow. No. So I'm not getting that anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's really, it is. That's bizarre. Really
that
bizarre.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Pyromedic. Hey, Pyromedic. Good to see you, honey. He wants to know if you know what tribe.
No, I'd have to look. Because there were several. I'd have to look it up. I don't know. There were several that lived here on this. I'm on a peninsula in Western Washington State, and there were 2 tribes, I believe, here that lived. So yeah, I'd have to look that up.
You're right, Brian. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Yes.
If I can't hear you, you can't get me. And you know what I also do, Brian? I know this sounds a little strange, but I have a 10-person tent, and Marty sleeps on her cot directly in the center of it. Literally in the middle of my 10-person
tent. Yeah, but people have been like, but people have
gonna be poking.
Yes. Right.
I don't want to be poked at. I don't want to be poked at.
See, I think that is so brave, because I don't. That is not something I could do. Is go out in a tent in the where I know they are.
This is really funny, because when we were with Jessica Jones in the in northern Georgia, it was funny because her and I, we were sleeping. We were in the same tent. She's got a tent that's not as big as mine, but close. She was on one side and I was on the other side. And my son was in a tent out, his own tent. So like maybe 7 feet away from us, 8. I mean, like really close. It wasn't, he wasn't that far away. I heard something going kind of back and forth of my corner, just kind of like my head was here and it just kept going like an L shape, like this, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm going, Jessica. And then I'm like, I reach over and I'm like, Jess. She never woke up.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I was like, who knows what could have happened to us, Jessica? Yeah. But in her defense, we were so exhausted that night. Like it had been a very crazy night. It was super late. But I've had that. I mean, I've had those things. One night, Matt and I in Mayaka, they were just literally, and you can hear it's through the whole night. They were throwing like little pine cones and acorns and just hitting the tent, just doom, 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 doom. And I'm like, oh my God, like, it was just a constant all night thing. So yeah, like I've been in those weird, but I've never felt I tell people all the time, I never felt afraid. I never felt anything like, I've never been afraid. I've never had a reason to be. Now, again, I'm not saying this happens to everybody. I'm just saying personally, I've never been afraid. I don't know. Maybe I'll go out one time and I'll have something happen to me and I'll be like, okay, I won't stay in a tent no more. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
But so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel like if I am hearing things, it might get me upset. They may feel my fear, or they may feel me being having anxiety. Like I don't want to trigger them with because if I'm feeling what they're feeling, you know what I mean? I would imagine that they could also feel what I'm feeling. So I don't want to kind of get them worked up or agitated at all. If that makes sense. It's kind of the reason I do it.
No, it definitely makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Gary says having them rub the tent is fun. Listen, Gary.
No.
I don't want to
Ooh,
hear it. I don't want to
no.
know. I don't.
Oh, like opening
Love
the
it.
tent. Oh,
Yeah, right.
very
Well, the funny thing was is that Matt heard that same thing I heard that night when it was kind of going back and like around the little L there. He heard the same thing, but he thought it was one of us girls getting up, moving around.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He
So it
thought
was
that it was
bipedal. It was definitely then a bipedal. He
mhm.
both thought, yeah.
It,
Wow.
but there were other people. It wasn't primitive camping to where it was only the three of us out there. There were other campers kind of not super close to us, but I mean, there were other campers there. So it
Mhm.
wasn't like, it couldn't have been a person. So,
Mhm. Yeah, but it would have
you
been,
know,
I mean,
but who would I
yeah,
don't know. It was a
yeah.
weird thing. And then
Yeah.
and then when the next morning when we were packing up, helping Jessica pack up because we stayed an extra day, the leaves, because it was like we had a lot of rain, it was fall, so all the leaves were coming down, and it was very like the leaves were all yucky and like
Oh,
super
yeah,
soggy.
matted together. Mhm.
So that whole area back there in just that L shape, there was nothing coming in or nothing leaving, like no
Mhm.
tracks. You couldn't see any tracks coming in or tracks
Mhm.
leaving, but you
Mhm.
definitely saw this L-shaped, like somebody was going like back, it
Yeah.
was weird. It was really strange.
Wow,
It was
that's
very weird.
cool.
I'm like,
Wow.
how did it get here? Like
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
heck it was, how did it get here? It was super strange. It
One of
was
those
weird.
things that you just can't,
You
there's
can't
no
explain.
explanation.
Yeah.
Oh my
Barb,
gosh.
thank you so much. Thank you for
Of
being here
course.
tonight. Thank you for
Sure. Thanks
sharing
for
your
having me.
your amazing evidence with us.
Thank you.
Like so much appreciation
Thank
for
you.
you and what you're
It's
doing out
I
there.
honestly, it's so, it's, like, thank you for saying, because it is, it's like, I don't share it with a lot of people. I will share some of it on my page, but not a lot of it. Chris has been just so fantastic with being,
Yeah.
having audio that I can actually share,
Yeah.
because a lot of it is so faint. So yeah, but so thank you for saying that too.
Yeah, no, it's everything you've got is super impressive. Super impressive. And like some of that stuff I've never heard I've never heard a lot of that stuff before. I mean, I've heard a lot of audio, and some of those things you've caught, I think they're very, very unique. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not an
Mhm.
expert. I'm not an
Yeah, yeah.
expert, but in
Well,
my opinion, I think very unique. Um, you know, uh, Stuff that sounds to me like they're talking. I mean, some stuff that, you know what I mean? Like you're catching them, they're
mhm,
clearly
actively.
mimicking a dog at
Yes.
one
Mhm,
point, a
mhm.
frog
Yes,
whistling, because
yeah.
that whistle is definitely
That's whoa, yeah, and, and
that is
you couldn't hear it on the
yeah,
recording, but when that whistle, there's some much fainter. I heard it though, and it was like mimicked it. It was almost like something said, "Are you there?" Like "hoo hoo," and then like "hoo hoo," like it was further away, but it was exactly the same. Like, wow,
so is this
that freaked me out that night. I was
yeah,
like, "Wait a minute!" I actually like, because I'm thinking, "Is there a human out there? Like, is that two
mhm.
humans?" So, because I think I woke my husband up and he like kind of shined the flashlight. He's like, no, there's no. We would see it if anybody with a car or whatever too. But
Wild, wild, wild. Thank you so very
thank
much.
you. Thanks for having me,
This
Marty.
has
It's
been
thanks
amazing.
for
We have
everybody in the
gone almost 2 hours, like,
oh my gosh. All right. I
and
hope
to me, it went like that. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't even believe it's 2 hours. Like,
Aw,
thank you
thank
for
you.
staying with us for
Sure.
2 hours
Yeah,
and,
thanks everybody. Thank you.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, are you kidding? I've had, a minimum of 20 people in chat all
Oh,
night
that's
long. We've
great.
had 20,
Thank
20
you,
something
everybody.
people all night, 2 solid hours. It's
So I
fabulous.
all my evidence, that's share that's able to be shared, that's cool.
Mhm.
I share it on my Facebook page. It's No Drama, Bigfoot and
Yep.
Cryptids.
And
So
then I have one
mm,
second because I also have Grizzly's channel as
oh
well.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I always plug that as well too. And Oh, wait, hold on one second. Cause I always, oh yeah. All right. I want to make sure I copied the right, the right thing. So you are on with Grizzly twice a week, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You're
Wednesday
on
night with a
Wednesday
panel.
nights.
And we do like breaking news, all kinds of cryptids. Chris is on there
Thank
with us.
you.
Yeah, Chris is on there.
Mhm.
And then Grizzly and I do a show on Thursday, which is Open the Door. It's kind of like, it's everything cryptids,
Mhm.
paranormal, aliens, ET, whatever.
Oh.
You know.
No, it's great. I love it. I really I like shows that have panels like that. I really
Mhm.
do. I like them because because this person may say this, but that, you know what I mean? And it sparks
Yeah.
something in this person. Like, I just love those kind of conversational type panels and groups
Uh-huh.
like that.
We'll have to have you. Yeah, well,
I
anytime
just
you want to
learn
be
so
a
much.
guest panel member, because we love to have people on. Yes, anytime you
Anytime.
want to be, you're welcome. Because really,
Anytime. Y'all just
okay.
holler
All
at me
right,
and I'll
definitely.
jump
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
great,
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, that would be
Anytime.
fantastic.
So
Right.
can you stay for a few
Yeah,
minutes
absolutely.
backstage for me while I just say
Sure, of
goodnight
course.
to all my peeps?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All
Good
right.
night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Another amazing guest, guys. Holy cow. I mean, the audio. As a matter of fact, I can't wait to kind of go back and I'm gonna put my earbuds in and I'm gonna listen to this, all these audio. I think that wow, I'm just super impressed with her evidence. Um, mind blowing, mind blowing. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I have a couple of things to plug. I don't want to forget about I know it's been on the ticker below, but I want to make sure I bring it up on screen, the flyer really quickly. The Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference and Expedition. It is the conference itself is September 16th. It's going to be amazing, guys. You don't want to miss this. So if you're anywhere near Ozark, Missouri, the weekend of September 16th, definitely check into getting the tickets. You don't want to miss it. It's gonna be mind blowing. It's gonna be mind blowing. Thank you guys again for all being here again tonight. I love you all. And paramedic, you got your ticket? Are you serious? No, Brian, I'm sorry. It's not Shane. It was Scott Carpenter, not Shane Carpenter. Scott Carpenter, who passed away. God rest his soul. Did you paramedic seriously? I can't wait. Oh gosh, I can't wait to meet you. That's gonna be so much fun. Um, All right, guys. I want everybody to have a wonderful, wonderful week. I have got some amazing guests. I have so many guests booked for the next 2-3 weeks. Please make sure you guys go and check. Have your notification bells turned on. I've got so many shows coming up. Don't forget. What do we say here? Don't forget to spread what? Love and kindness wherever you go. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And I will see you guys on Sunday, 1 p.m.